Hello everybody. So today we're going to talk about data processing, and we will create some scenario that will help us to understand how to work with the aggregations in Make. So you will see how to work with the bundles, what exactly aggregation means, and how we have to use grouping for it. And so for today I want to build a scenario that will work with my Google Calendar and a data that I have in here. For simplicity, I've created the events with the different names. They don't include the user emails, but it's just just the case. So we're going to use these events to extract this data. That will also help us to understand how to work with the time, how to calculate the time of events and so on, and or like time intervals between and start and end of our meeting or call or event. And then we're going to create some stats that we're going to put in a dashboard, and then probably also we'll have some trigger for convenient return of this data if we need to have it. So let's start to do it. So first of all, let's see what we got. We have several weeks in April that have events, right, for different users, different days, right? So our goal to grab all the activity for the April and create a combined report about these events. So I actually have three kind of customers here, right? And I have prepared the Google sheet that will be called report, right? And we let's do for simplicity day 6 report, and we're going to put the data here in some complex way, because I want to group my data, not just put the list of it, and I want to have also the text data combined in one file. So let's start with our Google Calendar modules. Google Calendar have some of them, and we will see which will work for us. So probably list events or something. I see the search events. That's probably something that we're going to do to use in our case. So search events module, it should be able to use our connection. We might need to extend permissions. The calendar does not require us complex custom apps, so like even free account will work well with no issues. So here you see I have to select a calendar, right? And because we're searching for events, we have to enter the start and ending date for our events. If I'm not mistaken, this particular module filters by day, not the time, but for us it's almost the same. So what I'm going to do in here, I want to enter a date in correct format, right? That would represent my beginning of April. So what I can do, I can just type it, and probably test will be easiest option. So let's say 01, then let's say 04 and 2022. So this will be like a pretty common format. And make so make actually says you this is not valid date. So you see it says the format is not valid. It at once validates oh, this is too much. Okay, so it tries to validate it. Yeah, so it's validated, and then we assume that should work. So we will enter the last day of April in here, and we'll try to run the search. So I want to first of all check these guys to make sure my dates parsed properly, and I got my module got correct input, right? So I do see the April 1st and April 3rd, so that means we kind of find. So we found some events. I want to also make sure that I have all events. I will put the limit to 100. Okay, and let's see how many of them we got. So we got 23, which is pretty close. So what we have, probably 2, 4, 5, 6. I just roughly want to estimate how much I have, like a 5, and 5 it's a 10, then 11, and then 6 more, it's a 17. So let's see if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, it was 10. So it's a 10 and 16 plus 6, it's a 22. Yeah, so something like 22, 23. Yeah, this looks like okay. I would also check the name, so that's fine. So summary will be our parameter. So you see we have Alex, Kate, Bill, and so. And what I can do at once, because you see I have the test. So how do you able to see like how many different options you have? And here where we have our group that comes to play. So I can use my say some aggregator, right? That would allow me to see the. So I need access to my name, right? So let's see. Even though it won't be aggregating a fields, I can use my group, and this is the idea, right? So have some unique parameter to be used as a thing that we go like what we going to group by. So I need to literally understand how many different events I have, right? So that it's called summary, I believe. Yeah, so it's a summary. So I want to then group all my events, whatever number of them. I want to group them by summary. So that will give me, as you remember, as you should remember, right, my summary in a key, and should form several sets of literally arrays, because we have arrays here, several sets of arrays, right, grouped by this parameter. So that should be pretty understandable right now for you. And I do see that I have that much arrays for Kate, for Bill, for Alex, and for Tess. So I don't want to have this one, so I may just filter it. I don't know, let's say our summary does not contain, and case insensitive, not I want to have does not contain case insensitive, and test here. So that should be enough. Okay, so now if I will run it and filter, that should pass 22. So as you see here, and I got only my things that I want to use. So this was again, this was testing and demonstration of how you can use the group to find out these guys, right? And then from this, we literally can go and use these values, right? Because and let's think what options we actually have here, right? So we got array of collections, which is fine, right? And I would potentially may include something in this collection, and we might need to use array just because again, just to illustrate your options in here, right? So we can use, let's say, numerical aggregator. So if I would just need to calculate this thing, I can use the source of my Google Calendar. I can aggregate, let's say, a sum, and in here I can do this thing. So for each of my event, and group them again by the summary, right? So by group by summary, I have my filter actually here, but it's okay. And I can group them, as we said, by summary. So, and value in here, if I put sum, should be my number and I can easily work with my start and end here, right? So you see, I can do the math here that we're going to do, comparing to our aggregator, where I have to trick it somehow. So I need to, I don't know, like find start and end. That will give me the arrays, and I will have to deal with some complex arrays in this case. This is not a number, so it was failed. We'll just unlink it. We'll see what was here. Summary does not contain a text. Test 3. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this just failed and stopped just because this module failed immediately after first run. Okay, so that's what we have, right? Will be start and on input, but on output we will have that type of array, and it will be like relatively very complex, right, to calculate for each of these guys. So you need to literally iterate it, calculate, and do a lot of tricky stuff that you don't need to do, right? So it's relatively complex to work with these arrays and this set. While if I have simply numerical aggregator, right, what I can do here will be just a math. So and here we also come to a point where we need to understand how we work with the dates. So our difference of the dates can be calculated just like you can just subtract the start from end. Yes, so we need to move this here and this in here. So we'll subtract start from end to, again, to test it out, to don't spend too much operations, just in case if you do spend, always use some testing option, right? So I might have my, let's say, an hour, which is easy to check, right? So I need to subtract, let's say, add an hour, which adds an hour to now, right? And I will subtract now. So that for my tests should give me, I'm sorry, it should be definitely now, right? So that how we can how we will test the calculation, and if it works just fine for us. So add hour now plus 1 hour, right? So this is function that adds 1 hour to current time and minus current time. So technically we should have 1 hour difference, but what we're going to have will be a seconds, right? So you see a ton of seconds here, and this is actually we should have an hour difference, and it should be the definitely 60 seconds, or if it will be decimals, let's just multiply it. So we need to do expression, so it shows actually a little bit weird value. So what it should be when we subtract this difference, it should give us, I believe, a milliseconds, right? So I will multiply this by 1000 to see the number of seconds that we got. So I'm sorry, divide, definitely divide, because it's a milliseconds. We need to divide it by 1000, and we need to divide it by 60 to get an hour. So if I will divide it by 1000, okay, so this what I got will be a second, okay? So 3000, yeah, in a milliseconds, and just because of some math discrepancy, it gives us a little bit bigger number. So if you see here, right, it will be just, it's kind of too big number, and a calculation give us discrepancy with these milliseconds. So I believe some of the digits like this is kind of extra. This is just a programmatical, mathematical, kind of cursion or something like this. So if we will divide this definitely with a parameter by 1000, That will give us a second. So the value, as in you may know in JavaScript, right? The difference between the time, date time variables, right? And watch the video about the date variables, right? And how we work with these functions. The difference between these parameters will be calculated in milliseconds. So when we will divide this by 1,000, we will get a seconds. So this is, you see it, sometimes it's just weirdly not rounding. So it's kind of a small flow or back. It calculates and it should give us the three, it's probably, you know, why it's happening, because we literally run the function and we calculate now, and then in like a super fractional difference happens between the calculation now here and again the calculation now here. If we would have, even with the milliseconds, dates set is as a text, as a static parameter, right? So that would be definitely exact value. But because we have two nows here, technically the system will try to calculate the time for this, and then it calculates the time for this. And there is like a super small fractional difference that gives us, you see, it's like a 4-digit something. So it gives us like a small flow, fluctuation of the number. But it should be 3,600 seconds, right? Which, if we will, again, divide it by 60, goes to a minutes, right? Which should be 60, right? And if we will, again, divide this to 60 once again, this will give us an hour, which should be 1, might be a little bit again fluctuated because of the things that we use here. If I would literally have a date, let's say 01, to be correct, 01, 01, let's say 2022, right? And space, and for example 11, or let's use the midnight. So this would calculate the midnight plus an hour for January 1st, 2020, minus the midnight of January 2025, right? And that should give me exact 1 hour, because if we have, yeah, because you need to parse it. So parse date. So system automatically can't understand that this text is a date time. So again, this is why it's important to understand the formats of your things, because when we apply the @hour for this type of text, the make will try to parse it as a date, right? But when we try to just subtract some piece of a text, the make does not understand that text we assume to be a date. So that's why I need to parse this, and I kind of can, you know, try to use this trick to not parse it. Technically, you should definitely also apply parsing for it, but because we use this text as an argument in @hour, so we assume that this is an hour, and make will try to do his best to, it's best to parse this as a date. So that should work, and it is. And that will always give us the exact number. So if I remove these dividers, this will always give me 3,000, like it's a 3 million probably, right? So yeah, 3,600,000 seconds, which in milliseconds, if it's a milliseconds, if we divide it by 1,000, it should give us 3,600 seconds, which if we divide by 60, we will have 60 minutes, and divided by 60 will give us 1 hour. So that's just for illustration how we subtract the dates and how you may work with it. And this worked, right? So we now can apply this exactly same idea into our option here. So that will be the difference, right? this will be the difference in milliseconds. And if I calculate my number of hours for my event, so we subtract end and start. I again need to put it in parentheses, right? So I may just do it like this, because this will be expression. This should give us a number, and then it's just a regular math, right, which you should learn in a school. Then we divide it. We can do at once 360, I believe, or just to not have a mistake, or yeah, it should be like these 3,600,000 probably. So we have this, right, and we just divide it by this, by 60, and by 60 once again, which give us 3 million, right? And that will be calculation of hours. That's exactly what we need to have, because we need to report how many hours each of our event taken. And because we group them by summary, right? We have a sum here, so that will give us a value for each of event, which sum them up by this summary name. Okay, let's try to run it. We also have our filter to skip our test. Does not contain case insensitive, the test. And if we will run this, that should give us our calculation. So you see we got the difference in some fractionals, some decimals, just because not all my events have same time. Some of them have like 2 hours, some of them intentionally have an hour, or even just like this, an hour and a half, right? So that's exactly what we've got. And we got a summary of these guys, right? So you see we have 9, 875, 625, and so on. So that gave us a complete summary on all 22 events, and it would be great, right? So what I can do here, again, because we learned how to work with the grouping, if I need to get this as a general description to, let's say, email it, I first of all will create the set variable to illustrate it. But again, we have several bundles, right? So how do we have these bundles in the one piece of a text? Because if you would create just a set variable, as I would do, as I was intentionally was about to create, and let's call it report, right? So that report won't give you the thing that you want to have, right? This report will give you exactly same as we have here, right? So you have 3 bundles on output, and you have 3 bundles on input that give you again 3 bundles on output. So we will simply have this variable reset 3 times. So what I have to do in here to literally create a one text from these 3 bundles, I again need to aggregate them. And I would do, because I need to get a text, right? And you know, I like better the text aggregators, then create some array and then do map. And so I can simply use my text in here and say that I will have, for example, name, right, as my key, and a total, or like a time, as my result. That will be a piece of a text for each result that we're aggregating, okay? And I want to separate them. I won't even add separator, as I may do, just a new row, right? What I can do, new row, but that will give me like, you know, text just like this. I don't like this idea. I want to have a space between them. So I simply add a new row in here as a new line, as a piece of a text. That would actually add new lines after each of my things. So it's like questionable. I may try to actually other separator. Yeah, the separator won't give me a new line, unfortunately, so I can't put just a line between of them, but I can have, let's say, a new row, and I can add a new line after each of my items. So technically I will have two lines, like a new line and another empty string, but I have one extra in the end, which is kind of okay for this case. And then I can use this text as a variable. So just to illustrate the variable, but it's like output will be the same, definitely. Okay, so run, and we got our text, which is kind of report, and you see, yeah, it was actually trimmed fine, so that's good. It was trimmed, so I don't have a new line after it. I have just my guys, you see, separated by new line, and that's how would look my text if I would add it to email or whatever place. It's great, and we reached one of our goals, because what I want to do, I want to have a complex reporting in my Google Sheet. So for that, I not only need to have this text, but I need to split it and have this as a lines. Okay. And for that, we definitely need to have the module. So Google Sheet as a module will add a rows. And here we came into another interesting aspect of this thing. So how we will have to add rows. What I want to have in here will be something like this. I want to have date of the event happened. I want to have a week on which week that happened, and I want to have customer, hour, and a just description. And plus, in the end of each of these sequence, I want to have like a subtotals to like overcomplex this, and in parallel illustrate you how you may work with the dates and grouping in the make. Okay, so my result should be done like this. I have the, let's say, first line here, which will say me the week. Let's say week, do we have weeks here? You see, it's funny, but I believe that should be our week. 16, no, 23. Week 4. It's fun. It's funny, but I believe we can use say make to find number of a week. So we can find our day report and sheet, and then this will be our logic. I want to see a number of week here. So say week I don't know, like 15, for example. I have a customer, let's say Alex. I have the hours for Alex on that week, let's say 5 hours, and an amount, which will be some calculation of that by our rate, that by some rate of, let's say, $25, for example, some note, and income. So what I want to have is a group of these guys for all three of my Alex, and then I don't remember, like we have a Bill and Kate, I believe here, right? With the week, same week, right? And I want to have hours for each of them, like 4, 3, calculated by formula. Then I want to have, let's say, week total or subtotal, or week total, it's fine. Week total or subtotal, and I want to have the summary of all of my guys here. So for example, our income will be this, and this will be a total of these guys. So more or less, this is something that I want to achieve, And in the end of this whole thing, after week 16, and this, right? So this will be like 16 with the sum numbers, and 17, because we have 3 weeks. I want to have week total, and I want to have grand total, which will calculate the whole amount. Okay, so this is idea that I want to implement in my Google Sheet. And for that, we will use a grouping and options of make to achieve this and illustrate you how that works. So let's start. I will just leave it as is to replicate, and I will start with my logic. So what I have to do, and here will be a creation of a groups, right, by week, first of all. So I need to say something like my results from here should be splitted by week, first of all, right? So then I see that I can, let's say, run my module several times, right? Means technically I know the number of weeks per month, right? So my logic might be just run it for to change this from week 2 to week 3. This might be one thing. We also can group this by week, for example. Instead of using the summary only, we can group this by week. We can probably apply something else. So let's try to find the best ways for it. Okay, and for that, I would use the option. So you remember we spoken about the week that can give us make itself. So again, set variable for quick test. We actually can use this one to clone it out. And then we have our tokens, right? So if we go to help for our functions, we can find the format tokens in make and a week. Okay, so that's something that we're looking for. This is a number of a week, or maybe this one, yeah, way better than 0, 1. So capital W will give us a number of the week, and this will be our anchor point that we will use. So we say that today is 28th actually, and I will if I format today's date, which is now, to week, that will give me a number of current week. Okay, and as it's a 17, so you see I guess it almost correctly. So I'm started, yeah, it's almost, I was almost there. It's like 14, 15, 16, 17. So we will use this as a repeater. So we understand that technically the month will have 1 week. So for simplicity, I would just assume that my month will always have 4 weeks. This just to avoid to overcomplex this, because we already overcomplexed this enough. You technically, just as an assumption or as an idea, you can always set a day, right, for your date. It will set a day for each of the month, right? So technically we can do it, right? And then we can repeat it until the week is end. But for now, again, for simplicity and for educational purposes, we'll do it like this. So I will take my repeater and I will set it for that much. As 4. We technically can calculate it. Let's spend some time and do some correct math for it. So how to calculate the number of weeks in current month? So for that, I would set some sequence right to add the let's say again it will be repeater, so we can add 7 and check if the month is the same up to 5. If it's okay for operational purpose, we can do it. So we can say we will have say 5 repeats, this max, intervals or weeks or whatever we might have, right? And that initial value of 1. So we might set our variable to calculate the week for each date plus one week, right? So we assume we always will start with the day 1 of the month, right? So I will always have 0, 1, and then I will need my current month, which will be format date for my current month, means now, and format day for month, right? So that will give me a number for my month, like April will be 04, or May will be 05, or December will be 12. So with a format. And then I have a year, which is current year. I can also put it in here, right? So this is just fine. So that will always give me this format of a date. I will always start with a 01, and I will always format it to a week. Okay, so this kind of okay. We'll repeat it 5 times. Each time it will give me my current week, right? Because once again, this gives us sorry, not current week, but the week for day 1 in current month, right? So this will be 01, like a first of, and current month is April, so it will always return April 1st of the like year with all my 5 executions, and will be formatted as a week of this date, which gives us 13, right? All 5 times. Then I will say my initial value of 1, I will have 5 repeats, but I want to increase the step by 7. And this is actually okay, because I may use this as initial 1 as a date even here, right? So I can try to set it this, and then I will increase it several times. It will fail probably on some point, maybe no. So you see we got week increasing 14, 15, and here is 17, which is interesting because if I have 6 for example, will it fail? Because on some point we should have a date which will be, let's say, 55 of April. So we will see if that will parse it. It won't. Okay, so you see it fails on a 6, and this something that we can use. So it's unable to parse of 36. So I can add let's say ignore, and numerical aggregator is maybe not the most elegant way to do it, and count. But that's something that should work. So, and then I will know how many weeks I have in this month, if I'm okay with the spending of this amount of operations, for example, which I can do, I believe, maybe here. No, this will fail. So just assume this is what we can use, right, to set literally in this repeater. So a little bit tricky, but again illustrates you the way how you may just find a solution just on the fly using logic and using functions for dates in make. Okay, so we calculated a number of weeks in current month, means whatever date will be, right? So if I will start it in December, it will calculate me the weeks inside of December. So pretty clear. And that I will set as a number of my repeats. So go here, search elements, maybe just take some time. Yes, result. Just need to reopen it. Okay, so repeats. Okay, so repeats, and then I will do my filter grouped by this, right, by my week. So let's see what we actually can achieve with it. So potentially we can set this date actually also, right, with things similar to this, or we can use the date range and group it. I would start maybe with even this idea, right? So we can just increase it until it fails. So just to see, and maybe avoid even this repeater, I will just try to run this until this fails. So for example, I will even set the repeat to 7, whatever, it will still fail. And that will be executed for my thing. So I will have a number of week, which is great, and I will just increase, do the same thing, right? So I literally will copy this expression just without a week. So that will be use it as a filter for my date, and that end date will include this date plus 7 days, right? Because every time we start our date from here, and the range will go until this. Okay, and if it failed, that this just this week won't be included, but we can try to test it out. Should be more or less fine and work for us. So I will just do add days to my end date. So end date plus 7 days, right? So we have start date, which will be 1, then 7, then 14, then 21, and so. Which is actually not correct, because week won't start from these ranges, right? So we need exactly weeks to be correct. So then yes, I have to use my my week like week 13, week 15, week 16. Okay, and then I need to parse it, and that's give me the range, which is pretty awesome. I can just then use parse date, okay, and say that we need to parse this number as a week. Let's see if that will work. And I need to check my parsing token. So can I set just start with the week, let's say number 13 every time for this year? Maybe not. So parse tokens. Yeah, it is. It works. Let's see. It's interesting and great concept, which actually can be reused in many interesting cases. So if I have my week, say 13, and we'll parse it as a day, so that should return me 13. So we will start with the March, as you see, March 28th, which is great. What I need to do, I need to correct it to day number 1 of my month, right, to be exact. And for that, I can use set day, if I'm not mistaken. So Monday 1st. Set date. Okay, so set date will return a new date with the day of the month, specify it in parameters. Okay, again, I will need to do some correction. And if function, so we'll need to compare if this week will be a March. Again, we went a little bit deeper, but that will give us exact expression for for our thing. So I need to calculate if that date that we will get as in here will match, right? Will match to the by month to the month of the date that we will set to 1. Means if I have week 13 and it returns me 28th, and I will set it to the March, right? Will it be correct if it will be the April? So I want to April, but this returns me a March. So what I need to do, I may just need to add 7 days and match months for both. Okay. So, and if the month is okay, then I will leave this date. Okay. If this is not correct, then I do something different. So my parse day, my parse date for week 13 returns me the March 28th, which is incorrect. I want to have my April, right? April 1st, please. Just give me April 1st, please. So I will test it out as plus 7 days. So I need to format this. That's my idea. So format date into the month, right? Capital. Just compare a text, whatever, or the number. Number is also okay. That let's use the text for clear understanding what we're doing here. So my week 13 returns me a March, which is not something that I intended to see, right? Because my week should start from April. I don't like it. So if I will use set date, right? If I use set date for my week 13, and we'll say for my week 13, please give me a first date of that date that returned it. It will return me a 1st of March instead of 1st of April, which is not great, and I don't like it. So once again, if I would set it as a date, so that returns me a starting of week 13, the first midnight of the first day of the week 13, which is March. I intended to have it as April, right? Always first should go to like next month. And I set date to convert some kind of month first date, but not the March definitely. I need to have it as an April. So what I do here, I want to compare. So you see this, if I run it, this will return me the March 1st. So my idea is compare this, which is March, to the same thing, but plus 7 days. Because if our, just assume, our week 13 will be the, for example, the March, the April, right? And we add 7 days, it will be April. But if it's a March and we add 7 days, it's definitely will be an April, and they won't match. So in that case, I can do a correction for plus 1 month. It's again, it's complex, but that will always return as a first day of correct week. So format date by this for our set date, as we have it here, plus 7 days. So again, if week would match, and we will do it on a week 14, for example, that will return us okay. If that won't match, we will do this stuff. So we will do a change a bit for the next one. So let's see, set date. Yeah, so we can actually avoid complex if statement, just doing this thing. So we always literally will add either one here to just add 1 week plus and set date to the month of second week, right, of our range, or we can just add 7 days here. So easier will be to always add +1 for our thing. That would return us April, and April 1st, right? Or just add the 7 days here. So with this one, I assume that set days with a +1 will always be correct for our first run again. So first run to start our range, I will always do a +1. So my week my first run should always start with this set. And if it's a not first run, then I will use my week, which seems okay. And so if this is not equal to 1, so if it's a not first week, then I do my parse date thing. But if it's a first week, you see I said not equal 1. Just I lazy to you know to move this back and forth. Technically, if it's equal to 1, then it's this. But I said if it's not equal to 1, and I said this expression. Okay. So and here we probably will have something opposite. So what we need to have here, so first run should be always +7 days. And this should be, replace it with our report +1. So we said 1 week plus, okay? And that should be, so like a first week of our thing. So we start with this one, right? So first range should be ended in here. Okay, let's test it out. We will disregard this and we will run it, let's say, 2 times just to see the first check. So if the first check was correct, it is. So we started with the April 1st, then was April 4th. Okay, so let's see. It's interesting. And this may be something that we have to have. So April 1st week. So April 1st and then April 4th, which is okay, I would say, right? So we technically pulled everything from the first week to second, and then we started second. So let's see if the third would start from 11, and then we are okay with the first start date. So 3, repeat 3 times, run to see. So first check start date. Oh, it's actually March. Okay, let's see. So first week was 13, which should give us week, set date to 1, parse +1. It's weird, but it should give us April, I believe. Let's see if we are correct in our expectations. So parse date +1, 2 week, so it should give us week 14, right? And set date 1. So first date of that week +1 date. Run, test, check. So start is still March. Okay, let's add 2 just for curiosity if that plus works. For us, no, this plus doesn't work, and I assume that that is not a number then, which is kind of okay because our format date returns a text, and what we can do, we can check it right with output. So as you see, it's a number, and that's why it doesn't work with a plus here, right? So my logic then should work this way. I need to parse it as a number to convert to number. That would allow us to understand that this is number and +1, it should give us the first April. So my start is April 1st, my second start April 4th, which is great. My third is April 11th. So we get here, and let's see until where we will reach. So 7 runs. So April 1st, April 11th, April 18th, April 25th. Beautiful. So we got automatically, dynamically built start for whatever happened in the world, right? It will calculate a month, right, each time when we run it. We have to do the same for the end date, which is maybe a little bit tricky because we have the first run, right? So in the first run should give us the, we can use basically this expression -1 day, right? So it's not that bad because we assume that during the first run of our thing, that will always give us the day number 1, right? So just again, following our logic, first run, end range, should be in here, right? Means right day before of our first run. In case if that not equal to 1. And let's consider, so that will work, right? This would work for me if I would set it as a -1 day. So I set that, which gives me a 4 -1 day. So I can set add days and then -1 in here. So hope you got my logic, because I know literally that that expression will return me during the first run. It returns me the March. It's actually the first run return me the March this, right? So I need to then, yeah. So let's see. So I need like find the week, right, that we have here, literally a date and end of this particular week, which is not maybe that bad. So days in a week. I need to find next week, and I need to have 1 day back. Okay, and let's see. I have this date, which will be returned, right? And if I will just have +7 all the time. So add days. If I would add days to that, it would be nice. But if I start with just kind of Monday, right, which is not ideal. So, but if my week is not full, as in case of March, right? So I have my March is here. So my week of the first week of April, literally, starts on Friday. So what I may check will be pretty interesting, right? I may say if that, what we calculated, is not a Monday, right? If it's not a Monday, then please go and set it to set day. And this returns me one interesting thing. Okay, so function set day works this way. It set the current date to a date of a week. In like, it's similar to say set date, but it's a set day. I just need to understand what will be the direction of this one. So my set date will take a date, whatever date will be here, right? It will set this one to something, and this to something will be returns a new date with the day specified in parameter. Can be used to set a day of a week, right? So 1 to 7, when 7 is Saturday, it's good because I need kind of always 7. If the given value is from 1 to 7, the result date will be within the current Sunday to Saturday week. So that's exactly what I need. So means if I set my date to day 7, it will always find the end of my week. And we might even use this. No, we won't use because we need the first date here. Okay. So this, I believe we found the solution. So let's see. First one, April 2. It's not exactly what I need, but looks okay so far. See what that will give us. So end date of April is April 9. Am I have my April 9? Okay. Sounds good, but I probably need Sunday, Saturday. Yes. So I have that set correctly. If my following will be 16, then I kind of will be happy. So the bundle number 3 gives us, let's see. Okay, so 2. Oh, this operation 2. Operation 3. So if my gives me start 11 and end 16, which is perfect. And my fourth give me 18 to 23. Let's see. 18 to 23. Not that bad. It's always give me actually the Saturday, but the Saturday will be included, so I'm kind of happy with it, right? And the last one gives me April 25th to April 30th, the last day. End date, it's kind of 12 a.m. It's not that nice, maybe, but it's okay. We may do some correlation for end, because you understand that last date will be not always the last day of the month. But I believe this way more than enough, and we are already way out of the scope of what we did, but that we will be like a super great you to remember and understand the logic of what we're doing here. Okay, so I assume I kind of happy with what I got with my filtering for dates, even though this second one, it's not that good. So 3 Sunday. I don't have Sundays, right? And this I believe just because I don't use the set day function correctly. So once again, so Saturday set as 1 and Sunday set as 1 and Saturday set as 7. Yeah, so it's fine for me, just because I don't really care about Sundays, right? Because if I would set Sunday, it would return my calendar back to beginning of the week. I need end of the week. That's why with Saturday I'm okay. And I even would be okay maybe with this one. Just, just to calculate the last day of the month will be better to do like calculate the next, the next month and then set 1 day minus. This method that you can use. Hope you got an idea, right? So you can't calculate, it will be like 31st or 30th or so. But what you can check if that date is still within a month here, right? So if these months, for example, match, if they won't match, then you simply do set date to 1 and 1 day back. If they are matching, then you add +1 month, you set the first date of this month, and you do the -1 day. Pretty complex, but that's how you calculate, right? So means if my month is matches here, if it's still April, I need to add month, like add month, means add +1 month, it will be May. Then I need to set date to May 1, right? So literally set day of my May, right? So set month, add month, and I will add 1. Then I will set this date to 1, means will be kind of first day of next month, and then I will do add days -1. Okay, that would always give you the last day of the month. So you just need to understand either or, you need to add this month, and this you may calculate if you will match this and this. So this will always have a 7 days difference, right? So this will be always within of our current month for 100%. That might be not, because we're adding we're setting a day, like a last day of the week, which might be already the next month, May in my case, right? So you need to check if month is here and here is good. And if it's not, then you simply go and you do this, right? So you add 1 month, you set first day and minus. If they are matching, if they are not actually matching, you don't add the month. If they are matching, you add a month, set first day, and so on. So this will be optional if month is matching. If they are not matching, then you just use this. Okay, this hopefully will be helpful. And that's it. So we dealt with the most complex thing, and now we just need to group our results. So we have our Aprils, so our ranges work just fine now with no issues, and we simply need to set our grouping up. So that will run all the time and will return us some amount of bundles. Okay, so we don't need to have like a ton of events for this record, right? So this record should come only once after our thing kind of done. Okay, so what I do here will be grouping them with a numerical, right? So I need to group all this stuff for one run of my thing. So I have my numerical aggregator, which will calculate me a total. I can borrow this one. Okay, so that will do it without grouping. It's wonderful. This is exactly what I need. This will calculate me a number, and I will use it to set my row to say that week total in column note right, and my total income will be all hours multiplied by my multiplier. So I won't again, I won't over complex it. I will just do 25 by my result in here, because that will return me a number. It's a numerical aggregator, right? So that will return me a number, and that will add my line. I can test it, so that will give me the only lines. Okay, just fine. So run. That should give me the only lines. Okay, so we good here. I have my totals for all my weeks. And now I need to add rows and set them up. So I will clone this, and as you see here, let's clean this up a bit. We don't need this array anymore. Let's align it. Okay, and let's see. So I have my calculations, and I need them still. I still need grouping, right, for my guys to have a total but per week, which is fine. So I simply take my results that I had here, right, and that will work for my purpose. So on link, put this here, and this will do our stuff. And this how you need to work with the grouping, right? So what I do here and how the sequence works. So I run this 5 times, like or whatever weeks I have, and each time I return the result. So my first run will do some, like whatever, each run will do some results, right, and we'll return them in here. Let's say 9 events. Then my numerical aggregator will group them by summary, means by name in here, right? So that allows me to have 1 line per group, which is logical. And this where comes our group to play, right? So you remember. So we do summarize our event plus minus dates, all good, and we just need to set the row using some parameters, which are date, which actually will be relatively hard to get. So I will just skip it because we literally don't have a date. It's not like not exactly logical, I would say, right? So we don't have a date. We'll just rename it because we may set a date of the week. I don't know. Let's say the date of the week for more educational complexity, but we already overcomplexed this a lot, right? So say like a parse date for our week, because we know how to do it. And then let's say format it in some correct way, because I don't want to have like a long text with milliseconds and so on. Set it to, let's say, day, month, and a year. Done. So that will give me a date of inside of my date line. The week we have, right? So number of a week comes from our calculator set variable that we have right after the flow controller repeater. The customer name will be key, right? So that's how we grouped our guys, just to remind you, right? So we group them, and that key will be a name of our guy. Okay. And what else? So hours, definitely this is result that we calculated again in our numerical aggregator. Amount will be our result multiplied by our multiplier, which is 25. So $25 per hour, good. So note week total, we don't have income. That will do a list of lines per week, right? We'll set this to 1 to test it out. Don't spend billion of operations and see how it will work. Yeah, because this was week 1. We kind of okay because there is no result in the week 1. The week 2 then gave us more lines, just like this. Okay, so I'm satisfied with this one. Again, I can do my total to do the summary, but it's kind of okay for me for now. I won't bother myself with this one. I have my total already, so it's fine, and this kind of senseless also. So we good with this one. We good with this one. So just need to set them properly to start. So an important rule when you work with a router. So first come, it calls like a first come, first serve, right? So first come, in make it calls like first connected, first served. Means if I will set this as is, right? We'll execute it. So let's clean this up a bit to make it happen. Let me see. Okay, and let's run it. So what will happen right now? It will work in incorrect order, right? It's just because I already connected them in correct order. If I would connect that first, like get this connected first, and then I connected this, like first connected, first serve, you have this beautiful plain flow that allow you to see how your flow works, right? So first it goes here just because I connected this first. To regroup it, super simple, unlink and link it again. So right now, because I just unlink it and link it this back, this was linked last, right? And then first bundle will go this way, okay? So you see how it happens. And that's why my order is correct. So if I will remove these guys, we'll run it again, we will get our results done as we wanted to have. Almost. Let's see if everything okay. Yeah, this date is fine just because I set a week. I want to see the first run. I don't really like it. Let's see. We either displace at some date or something is not correct. Okay, let's clean this up. Run to test. Okay, the first run is fine. I have zeros. Let's see the second one. And you know what? This still works this way, because we have this long aggregation sequence. Okay, so it works this way, right? And then continue this one. So I want to unlink this one because I don't need this yet. And that should a bit fix my logic, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, this is because I have a grouping, right? So it will end, it will wait until end of all groups, and then we'll do a stop. So I would need to maybe regroup it a bit, because when I have 2 and 3 and 4 runs, this is not the best way. So I can try to either copy it, maybe, or run. So easiest way definitely will be split it. Stop processing on empty aggregation. Works just fine until I will face more bundles. Okay, so I set it to 3, let's say. Yeah, it mixes a bit, and I don't like it. Maybe I'm okay. Let's see the Alex for a 4. No, it should not be here. To test this, sometimes what you can do if it runs too fast, right? So you can add a sleep, for example. I can add a sleep here for, let's say, 5 seconds, just to clearly see how this flow goes. I do have the flow explanation, right? But I want to see it a little bit clearer on exactly what's happening. So run to see. Okay, so we created the first line for nothing here, and it's good. So then, and this is interesting, right? Because our thing started before, and this just because of grouping, I assume. Let's go back to our thing. Okay, yeah, so it's Alex doesn't have anything here, so it should be grouped. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I believe the solution will be to extend this aggregation sequence, right? Because what is literally happening here, our module we start with this one, right? But we have several bundles, right? And that waits for the bundle, for all bundles coming in, right? And then it returns these different bundles. So if I will like extend a bit my aggregation sequence, that will wait for whole complete execution of my module. This is exactly what I need to achieve. If you don't have such capability to reference, let's say, this module or that, right? So what you can do, I can literally take this one as my, you know, the aggregator. It won't change anything for me, right? So I will still, or I maybe not will be able to access the date. Yeah, I will be able, definitely, because it's still here, right? But if some weird reason you don't have access to this, you know, you can kind of cover the variables and they won't be accessible anymore outside. They actually won't already, right? That's just because we don't use a week, right? So if you need to use a week, for example, what you can do as a trick, you just add a router here and you use a router as an aggregation sequence. Okay, so it's still bigger. So that starts, whatever module is it, it starts, right? Then we start this module and it goes and does something. And when this everything will be finished in this sequence, then only this sequence should finish, and that sequence should start to aggregate again only when this module starts. This the logic behind this decision. So I will run it again just to test it out and see if my assumption is correct. So first is done, which is right. The second one goes only after that is finished. Okay, but still something wrong. I'm going to add another sleep again, so you see I'm adding this to make sure I have everything good. Okay, so my first empty finished, so all good. Then I have my again first total comes here and it's fine. So then I add one more row, two more rows, three more rows, four more rows. Maybe this is just the Google Sheet issue, which would be interesting. But it actually doesn't. It actually doesn't, and for some weird reason, we have our row here displaced. It just displaces, I believe, right? So it doesn't literally work incorrectly. It just being displaced literally. I'm going to repeat it once again. This may be because of this format. Let's just spoil a bit the format, because Google Sheet might try convert it into some date and then start to do some crap and then adds this row because it thinks it's like kind of not completed. So we going to clean it up and see once again. I want to see that the rows for total was added before, right? So we should have the first line added, then total. Okay, so you see the first line is good, and that crap converted to a date, I believe. Then we have a total. So we're completely fine here, and I did everything fine. But now you see this was just displaced. For some weird reason, it's just because this was recognized as a date, or I don't know why, it decided to do it. Oh, it's because of 0404 maybe. No, it's actually 11/4 here. Yeah, 11 November. Yeah, this is format of a date. It's this just because American format. It takes the, you know, the date and so. So this was actually a problem. And as you see, we just kind of troubleshooted this problem also. So what I then going to do, I just need to change this format a bit. So simply because I have American, I just have to add month and then a day. And that should fix this over. I'm going to remove these guys because my logic and initial thing, everything works really well. It's just because of this aggregation stuff, and my Google Sheet module simply override it just because of the format of the date. So let's run it once again to see how it works, and it works just exactly as it should be, right? So you saw how that thing happened, right? So Google Sheet decided that it's not a date, the first one, which has 28 of something, and then when we have like 11 and 4 and 4 and 4, they assumed like this is a date and started to write this line for some reason. This Google Sheet, it might happen, so we should be prepared for every miracle. Okay, so that was also solved. So you see we have correct grouping. So only one thing we need to add, and will be our grand total. So grand total will be even easier to do, right? So I will just copy this. And now we need to have a proper source of integration. Means we need to aggregate everything, not just bundle by bundle. So you remember, as many inputs, as many outputs. So I need to take something that has executed only once, means my initial repeater. That will calculate a grand total for me for everything, for value, and I just will add this in the very end. Okay, after everything will be finished, this aggregation will finish also, and I will add this in the end of my report with the income and just set grand total. Okay, so this is done. I can remove these guys. I don't need them anymore. Yep. It's all good. And we got this report. So clean it up and set our repeater to whatever we had, like 6. We can't have more than 6 weeks in our month. So as you see, it's working, and only after everything ended, we got a grand total. So that's how it worked. Okay, so my week number 17 was empty, my week number 13 was empty, and we got this guy here, and all just fine. To fix this, I can do some, this thing related stuff, because this will be either first day or end of the week, right? So I may just fix my date for a week I use here, just like this. So I will just not use week, I will use my format date with this expression, because it always gives me either first day of the month or okay, and run. So you see March 1st, and that's it. So we can do, right, this stuff and save it, and whenever we want to execute it, we just run it. So you can set this execution, because it's always set to current month. It might be a little bit tricky, but you can run it in the end of the month, let's say, with advanced scheduling, right? So you may set it to run it either or at month And you may set like this, right? So like 29th, for example. There are like several tricks to do it for like last day of the month, right? But this will be like super simple to not have spend another some time to trick it to running. This is also possible, but we will just keep it for now, and we assume we good, because that's also my work not only like on a regular basis. You may just set up some trigger like a webhook or so, because if you need to get the current balance for a customer or the breakdown, right? So this will always work for you. And you definitely also can trick this a bit, because I set it to current month. So what you need to do, you need to make some changes to literally set it to previous month. Means literally for every things that you used for date, you just need to subtract 1 month, and this should work. Okay, so this was it, and hope this will give you understanding, a deep understanding in dates and aggregation sequence, and also some troubleshooting and way of logic and how you build your scenarios.